find out if that's something that is available in your country. If you can't find anything about a working with children check, then you'll need a national criminal background check to meet this requirement. It's important to know that really whatever background check that you're bringing, it needs to be legalized for use in the EU and translated into Spanish. So different countries will use different ways to legalize documents for official use in the EU. If your country is a member of the Hague Convention, you will need to get what's called an apostille of the Hague Convention. If you're not sure about the legalizing process that is specific to your country, just do check again with the Spanish consulate in your country, the one that is associated to you, because they'll be able to tell you how to get or what's accepted as a legalized form of an apostille or a legalization validation of some kind. They'll be able to tell you in the consulate what to do to make your document legally acceptable in the European Union. And then one last point about this, I mentioned an official translation a few times. So what does that mean, official? In Spanish it's called traducción jurada, or sworn translation. So there are lists of sworn translators, official translators, that are available in all different countries. These are translators that are recognized by the Spanish government, and you'll find these lists online or through your consulate. We can also direct you to the right, in the right direction about what kinds of translators are acceptable. So you can just email us and ask for this list. But again, your consulate should be able to tell you as well. And one thing about the translation, just please remember that the whole background check with its legalization page, the apostille page, all of it needs to be translated into Spanish. So going back to the example with the United States, so an FBI background check. What does that look like? So there will be a few pages that's the actual FBI background check, and you will send it to the U.S. Department of State to get an apostille on this. So the apostille is a separate page of a piece of paper that sometimes is actually then put onto your FBI background check, and either by a sticker or some sort of staple. It's put onto your FBI background check. So it's an additional page. So all of those pages, the apostille included, legalization included, all of that with the background check needs to be officially translated into Spanish. Okay. So I've gone over everything really about the visa process and the background check. There's one last thing that I wanted to kind of talk about that is related to coming to Spain on a student visa. So your arrival into Spain. So when you come here, a lot of times you'll book the best flight that works for you price-wise, and it might have a layover. If this layover is arriving in the EU and in another EU country before arriving in Spain, they will likely stamp your passport in this other European Union country. But for the necessary legal processes in Spain to process your visa once you're here and be all legal with immigration, you will also need an entry stamp in your passport from Spain. So this means that arriving from an EU country, they probably, if you have a layover, let's say in Munich, and then Munich you fly to Spain. Typically, in a normal situation, once you get to Spain from Munich, they won't be passing you through customs again to stamp your passport. But you do need to get the stamp when you arrive in the airport in Spain. It's something that if you can't go through customs to do it, you'll have to find a police station in the airport. For example, in the Madrid airport, I know that in the Terminal 4, there is a police station that you can go to and ask them for an entry stamp or an entry certificate. Sometimes it's a piece of paper that they'll make with, you give them your flight information, the ticket that you have where it shows that you originally came from, let's say, Australia, but you had a layover in Munich, and now you're arriving in Spain. You'll show them all of this information and tell them that you need an entry certificate with, to prove that you have arrived in Spain on this date. Sometimes it's done directly in the passport. It's written in the passport, or sometimes it's on a regular piece of paper that they print out and give you. If you forget to get this, if you forget to get an entry stamp in Spain at the airport, then you'll have 48 hours upon your arrival to go to another police station, or maybe even go back to the airport, to the police station in the airport, to get this entry certificate or entry stamp. This is a really important thing that a lot of times people forget about or don't realize that it's important. But we really do need you to get that in order to properly process your visa card, your student card with immigration once you're here and with the program. So I know I covered a lot of information in this video, but please know that you'll definitely receive more reminders about all of this when we send our acceptance into the program. We'll send you, a ton of information about all this process, these processes, reminders about the background check, and full information about the visa process. But it is a really good idea to start looking into all of this now, because it's a lot of steps, and it's easy to forget something. So definitely start taking a look now and let us know if you have questions. But hopefully this video gives you kind of the right start to looking into the visas and background check process. Thank you. Bye-bye.